What if nothing in your life is actually happening to you? Same relationship pattern, different person. Same money story, different year. Same exhaustion, right when things are finally working. I'm not going to tell you it's not real. I'm going to tell you what it actually is. It's not karma. It's not punishment. It's not proof you did something wrong. It's a mirror. And this stage is about what happens when you finally stop looking away from it. I want to be really clear about something because this idea gets misunderstood a lot in the spiritual spaces. The mirror is not punishment. It's not karma paying you back. It's not proof that you did something wrong. The mirror is simply just information. Your outer life, your relationships, your body, your finances, the situations that you keep repeating is a feedback system. It's showing you in real time what beliefs are actually running underneath the surface. Not what you say you believe, not what you've decided intellectually, what's actually operating. This is a piece a lot of us skip. We do the awakening work. We learn that we're the creator, not the victim of our reality. And then we try to just jump straight into creating something new, a new income, new relationship, a new identity. But if we haven't looked at what's already been reflected back to us, we end up creating the same pattern in a new outfit. You can't reclaim what you haven't first recognized. That's the whole function of this stage. Okay. Over the next several pieces, I'm going to walk through 5 specific places this reflection shows up in your life. I want to name them now so you can start noticing them as we go along. The first one is self-sabotage. How guilty are we all for self-sabotaging ourselves? Those moments where you get close to something you actually want and then somehow, it's a bust. It all stalls, you forget, or you half try. Well, we'll look at what that's actually protecting. The second is fear of success. And this one doesn't get talked about nearly as much as fear of failure, but I'd argue it's more common and more hidden because success can feel threatening in ways we don't consciously admit. The third, of course, is relationships. The people in your life, especially the ones who trigger you, are some of the clearest mirrors you have access to. Not because they're doing something to you, but because of what they're revealing in you. The fourth is your external circumstances, your environment, your finances, your health, the timing of things. When a category of problems keeps reoccurring across totally different situations, that's not bad luck. That's a signature. And lastly, the fifth is your body. This might be the most overlooked mirror of all because your nervous system holds on to old beliefs and old conditioning physically, not just mentally. And when you try to step into something new, your body can react to it as if it's dangerous. I know it sounds crazy. Even when your mind is fully on board, your body is still going to react from that state that it's dangerous because it's something new. Okay, here's what I've come to understand about this part of the work. Insight alone doesn't change your life. You can know your belief isn't true and still feel your whole body brace against the thing you say you want. You can understand your pattern intellectually and still watch yourself repeat it. The mirror stage is where you stop analyzing your life from a distance and start actually looking at it up close. You're going to look at the reactions, the repeats, the stalls, the same story showing up in a new face. Not to shame yourself for any of it. None of that. You got to get rid of that shame or the guilt feeling because you can't consciously reclaim authorship over a pattern you haven't first been willing to see clearly. Okay, that's what we're doing here. Not fixing, not forcing anything, just finally looking honestly at what's been reflected back so that when we move into reclamation, you know exactly what we're reclaiming and why. In the next piece, we're going to start with the first thread, self-sabotage, and look at why it isn't a character flaw or a lack of discipline. It's something much more specific. And once you see what it's actually doing, it becomes a lot harder to keep blaming yourself for it. Before you go, I want to say something directly to you, though, because I think it matters. If any of what I just shared landed for you, if you felt just that little spark of recognition that, oh, that's exactly what's been happening in my life, I want you to actually sit with that for a second instead of scrolling past. That spark is worth paying attention to. It's usually your own knowing, tapping you on the shoulder. This stage, the mirror, is honestly one of the harder ones to sit with because it asks you to stop looking outward for the explanation and start looking at what's being reflected back. And that's not always comfortable, but I promise you, it's where the real movement happens. And you can't skip past this part and expect the next stage to hold. I've tried it, and it doesn't work that way. You have to do the work. So here's what I'd love for you to do. First, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're going to walk through every single one of these 5 threads together, one at a time in the coming weeks. Self-sabotage, fear of success, relationships, circumstances, and number 1 as well, the body, because many people forget about the body. And I don't want you to miss any of them because honestly, they build on each other. Second, if you're someone who wants to go deeper than what I can cover here on YouTube, that's exactly what my Patreon community is for. Every one of these 5 threads gets a full extended version over there. Longer, more personal, with guided reflections and exercises you can actually work through, not just listen to. I go into things on Patreon that I don't have room for here, and honestly, some of it is the more vulnerable, real stuff, that parts of my own story that shaped why I teach this the way I do. And if that's calling to you, the link is right below. And third, I'd genuinely love to hear from you. I think community is so important. So drop a comment and tell me which of these 5 mirrors hit hardest for you just from hearing the list. Was it the self-sabotage one or the body one? I read every single comment, and honestly, seeing where this lands for people is part of what shapes where I take this series next. This work isn't meant to be done alone, my friends, and it isn't meant to be rushed. So take your time with this one, let it sit, and when you're ready, I'll see you in the next piece where we'll start pulling apart self-sabotage. No more staying on the surface of it. We're going deep. I'll see you there, my friends.